Welcome back into another new episode of the Sports Lounge here on WFRV Plus. I am Adam Ingles, and with me, Sean Kornuski. Sean, how you doing?
Yeah, cold.
I was gonna say it
Yeah.
is pretty cold.
Yeah, by the time this airs, I
It'll
guess
be on
it's supposed to
Friday,
be
and we're
like
supposed to be about
negative
40
six,
below wind
40
chill.
below wind
Yeah,
chill.
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's all right. It's that time of year.
It's Green
But
Bay.
No time to run,
Speaking
though, right?
of
I
running.
wouldn't run outside, that's for sure.
Well, we'll talk about that with our guest. So, this week's guest is had one of the most historic seasons we've ever seen at UW Green Bay. A West De Pere native, junior Noah Yankee became the first runner in program history to win an individual Horizon League championship, earning Horizon League Men's Cross Country Athlete of the Year honors along the way. He also broke the school's 10K record at the NCAA Great Lakes Regional and capped it all off by being named the Horizon League Men's Fall Scholar Athlete. Simply put, there seems to be a new accomplishment every week. So please welcome Noah Yankee into the Sports Lounge. Noah, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Speaking of cold, are you a runner outside in the cold? Can you handle the elements?
Yeah, you bet. I was just out there this morning, 19, 20 degrees. Wasn't that bad compared to the last few days. I have some studded shoes, which help with the ice. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm not much of a runner.
I'm hard
so.
to breathe if I go get the mail.
So let's start with a little bit about your background. You grew up in De Pere, went to West De Pere High School. So just kind of wanted to understand what got you into running. Was it a family affair, or is it just something that you individually took up on your own?
Yeah, well, I was actually really into some other things growing up, karate and piano, namely. So when the pandemic hit, that's when I kind of like found an old pair of running shoes in the closet, and I went out for a run. And I was like, wow, this is something that I kind of like doing. And I figured it would give me something to kind of chase fitness that I could do individually. And then I kind of progressed pretty quickly. I love learning about training, so between those couple of things, I kind of got into running, and then sophomore year of high school, I joined the cross country team, and I guess that's how I got
Rest
into
is
it.
history.
Did you always like anticipate yourself kind of performing at a college level, even when you were in high school? What were your thoughts about that?
I don't think I even envisioned myself performing at a high school level back
Okay.
then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything has kind of been a surprise ever since then, and I'm just super grateful for the progress that I've made. It's really great.
How much time at West De Pere, how much time did you have to spend in high school just to kind of make yourself the runner that you are today?
Yeah, well, sophomore year I was doing pretty low volume, just like 30 miles a week of running. And then when I got into junior year track, then I was really like, how much can I push the envelope? I got her up to like 100 miles a week doing, 5-mile runs before school, 10-mile runs after school. And then I kind of got into some other sports along the way, cross country skiing and road cycling. And that really helped me get my volume up. And now I'm doing somewhere around 20 to 30 hours a week of training. So that's yeah, the cross training has really helped, but it's kind of just progressed linearly
Yeah.
in terms of the amount of training that I'm doing ever since I started.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the other sports that you're in, all kind of individually based sports. Was that
Yeah.
kind of a conscious effort, or was that just something that, the sports that you liked were just kind of more individualistic in nature?
Yeah, I think the latter more so. I kind of enjoy the individual grind of it all, like the team aspect for sure of like having that camaraderie. But at the end of the day, I like being out there in the elements by myself and kind of working through that mental individual challenge. So I think that's what's appealing to the sports for me.
Very zen-like, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say it like that, I know how I feel when I'm like hunting in the middle of the woods and no one's around.
Yeah.
It's just like, you are one within the earth.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're making a Nike ad after this. Tell me a little bit about like some of the coaches and team members that you had in high school, and even some of the family members that pushed you and influenced you to be who you are today.
Well, I think I have a lot of gratitude along the way of just the support that I've had, specifically my parents. They're just super supportive of everything that I've ever done. So I'm super grateful for them. Just providing, shoes, any equipment I need, before I had my driver's license, dropping me off, picking me up from practices, like that all takes a significant amount of time and effort. So really appreciate that. And my coaches as well, like my high school coach, Coach Johnson and Coach Stacy Bloomer. Those were two very big figures in my life coming up and running. They're super supportive as well. Just we talk about training, just the races, always being there, always being supportive, never being they never cut me down or take me down because of a bad race or anything. It was always about building each other up, and the teammates, same thing. Now I have the best coaches and teammates in the world, at least that I'm aware of, at UWGB. So I'm super grateful for that too. I think I've had some great opportunities along the way, and yeah.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about GB, going there as a freshman to now. What are some of the kind of the biggest changes in your running style, maybe just or maybe, philosophically when it comes to running? What's changed from when you first entered UWGB to now having a really successful junior campaign?
Yeah, well, I think just being consistent with the training is something that I've realized more and more throughout my journey is the most important thing. People ask, what's your secret? What's your most important workout? And it's not about one workout that's going to make you the best runner. It's throughout 700 training sessions in the year, I hope that I improve 2%. So when you divide that out, it's a minuscule, it's an insignificant number of how much you'd improve each training session. So really, if you need a day of rest, take the day of rest instead of getting injured and having to take a week or two or even more off. Just having that in the back of your mind of like no individual workout is gonna make you the best, but having that consistency over time, I think that's the most important thing.
Well, this fall, you really didn't have all of that. You had 7 races that you won 6 out of 7. All right, let's talk a little bit about that. Winning these races and becoming the first runner in UWGB history, men's to win the Horizon League individual championship. Yeah, how does that feel? How does that feel just hearing those words?
Yeah, it's honestly super surreal. Like especially my freshman year, I looked at the winners of these races and I was like, wow, if I was ever anywhere close to that, I'd just be over the moon. And I certainly am, but it's hard to kind of believe that I'm there now. Yeah, it's super surreal.
What do you remember when you were in that race? What do you remember most about that, and what was going through your head?
Well, I think one of the most significant parts of that Horizon League race was the first 600 meters. I got pushed from the back and I almost fell. And I was like, oh no, this race that I was expected to win, it could all be over right now. Like I barely caught myself. I definitely spent a lot of energy trying to catch myself and not go down. But then I think the other significant part was, it's a 5 mile race, about 3.5 miles in. I kind of made my move for the win and kind of took off. There was one other guy that kind of stuck with me. And then the last 600 meters, I started sprinting harder than I ever have before for the finish. And just, I've never felt so much discomfort in my legs. I felt like I was going to.
Spaghetti legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to truck it, you know? Yeah. I've been there before, the Bellin run, I felt that way too. I raced that with my dad one time, and we were in that final stretch, and I could see the finish line, and he stuck with me the whole time because he knew he could blow me away.
I'm sure you were probably walking the whole way anyways.
I pushed him. I pushed him in that final stretch, and I took off.
Yeah.
And he trucked it to get ahead of me and try to get ahead of me, but I pushed him aside so that I get that 0.2 seconds.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure that was huge.
So that's always a good memory.
So Noah, do you go into each race with a different game plan, or is it pretty consistent per race? Or like do the terrains change so much that you got to kind of, formulate a different plan for each course, or how does that work?
Yeah, none of the courses that we run are like too much different than the rest. They're somewhat hilly, they're all pretty much grass. So, and going with a similar pacing strategy, it's just really dependent on the competition. You come into the race with some idea of the level of competition, So, like first couple of races of the year, I kind of tried to, stick with whoever went out in the lead and then make my move for the win near the end. kind of to have a bit of control over the race. But with regional championships, Great Lake Regional Championships in Evansville, Indiana, where I took 24th this year. That's a race where, you know, the competition is at such a high level that I know I'm not going to be in the lead. And at that point, it's just a matter of, you know, evenly distributing your energy throughout the race to kind of not die. And it was very hot that day as well. So that
my
even
lungs
more
would
important.
be hanging on for dear life.
Well, we'll talk more specifically about that race when we come back here on the Sports Lounge with Noah Yankee from UWGB. Be right back. Welcome back to the Sports Lounge here with Noah Yankee from UWGB Cross Country. So Noah, before the break, we talked a little bit about the NCAA Great Lakes Regional. Big race. You broke the school record in the race, finished 24th. An incredible accomplishment for a Green Bay runner. So I just wanted to go through, you know, what your plan was for that race, how you executed in the race. I know you talked about it a little bit, but just kind of the things that you learned being on that major scale race.
Start to finish.
Yeah.
Start to finish. I want to hear it all. How much time do we have?
Well, yeah, first of all, I mean, I think the day before was like, I was definitely very nervous going into the race because I just pulled my hamstring like a week before. And so that was still bugging me a bit. And I could tell it was not going to be like 100% in terms of performance just because my leg was hurting from the gun. But it was just a matter of like sticking with it, trying to pace myself accordingly. Still went out probably too fast, tried to get with the lead guys to see if I could stick there. I was probably in like 50th or 40th place through like halfway. Just kept kind of making my way up from there. I think the heat definitely, contributed to a lot of pain in a lot of people, myself included. But I think, I do some like heat overdress training, so that definitely helped a bit in terms of the performance that day. But yeah, I honestly, it wasn't until the end that I even realized I took top 25, and it wasn't even until after my cool down that I realized that top 25 was all region,
Yeah.
So these are all things that I did not know very, very in depth. I was actually told top 40 was all region earlier that day by a guy from a different team. So I was like, I had no idea really,
Yeah.
but I knew top 25, you have to be top 25 to go to nationals. And I was 24th, so it was like, all right, I have a chance to go to nationals depending on, they take out the teams and then the individuals. You have to be in the top 4 individuals. And I was like the 6th or 7th individual. Turned out that I had to be, 2 seconds faster to go to nationals that year, which is like, darn it. But maybe next year. And I knew the hamstring thing would have really bothered me at nationals too. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I was actually realistically hoping to run about a minute faster that day, but it just wasn't going to happen just because of the heat. And, everybody kind of measured the course with their GPS to be a bit long, so that could have been a contributing factor.
You're processing that very well. Yeah, I'd be livid, but my leg the day before, all that stuff. I would kind of ball that into just a bunch of rage. But how do you feel that how do you feel that, moving forward? How does that make you want to do better going into this new year?
Yeah, well, there's always, no matter how good you are, I love about running is that there's always something new to chase, whether it be a time, a place, a qualification. So that just gives me more motivation, it's those kind of scary goals that are out there, make it to nationals, run a sub 14-minute 5K, that kind of thing that are like, that really motivates me to get out there and do the really hard training. And that's something that's nice to keep in the back of your mind to think about when you're, in the middle of a hard interval set and you want to quit, your legs hurt, but you gotta stick with it to get that adaptation from your training.
Yeah,
I'm picturing you as like Rocky IV, and you're running up that ice mountain.
There's always a movie quote or
I
know,
scene but that's what I've been
Sean,
picturing. I was just picturing Noah running up a mountain, a snowy mountain.
So how much is the experience worth it, right? 24. Great. You had a great showing, right? And you got to be proud of that. but now you know what it's like, and that experience has to be so valuable for you going into your senior year next year, to really kind of not necessarily atone, but maybe perform to your expectation level.
Definitely, like every race, you kind of get a better feel of who's out there and what the competition is like. So I definitely know that probably what it took to take 24th this year is probably not even going to be good enough to take 24th next year. That's just how things progress. So I'm going to have to improve by, at least a couple percent to have a chance to go to nationals. And, with if I keep progressing like I have been in the last couple of years, that should be, somewhat within the realm of possibility, but only time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a natural confidence, right, just from being there, just to knowing that you belong in the top 25 of runners nationally. That's gotta feel good, and it's gotta kind of fuel you for the future, right?
Definitely, yeah. And I kind of look at it like I was in the top 25, I was Horizon League champion, but champions is something that I was and I can be again, but I'm not currently.
Yeah.
So,
Let's talk a little bit about you were also named Horizon League's Men's Foul Scholar Athlete. Talk a little bit about that and how important the academics is alongside running.
yeah, I see it as kind of one integrated unit of substance in the sense that I'm studying health and exercise science, so I love integrating what I'm learning in the classroom to my own training, and I kind of look at it like I train in the morning, I go learn about what I'm doing to myself, and then I go train again in the afternoon, and then kind of repeat. So that's the kind of process that I really love about it, and yeah, school is something that I really love. I'm grateful to have this major and career path that I really actually enjoy doing. So I feel blessed in that way.
Do you think the discipline that you've learned from running and being involved in running contributes to how well you do academically?
Definitely. I think, there's a certain aspect of like how you do one thing is how you do all things. So those priorities in life are certainly parallel in that sense. And the emotional and cognitive rigor that it takes to, focus for hours on end. Studying is, quite analogous to that it takes to, be out there training for hours as well.
You're traveling during all this, also just keeping up with your academics and your running. That's got to take a huge toll on you, also.
Yeah, that's a definite challenge. The thing about like I'm on my laptop in the bus and it's like bouncing around and I'm getting like somewhat motion sick. So that's a tough thing for sure. That's probably my least favorite part of it all. But at the end of the day, it's all worth it to be able to have these opportunities. So yeah.
What's some good advice that you would have, say, to some of the high school kids in Northeast Wisconsin that are involved with sports, but how important is that to keep your your academics up to par if you really want to get to where you want to be in sports?
But yeah, I think as our Coach Klein would say, academics is your number one priority. You might run professionally for a few years, but eventually you're gonna have to fall back on your first priority, which is academics. So I think that's the number one thing. Keeping discipline in academics will just at the end of the day help you with your running as well.
All right, that sounds great. We'll be back for one more segment here with Noah. Get a little more into his personal life. Ask some a little more personal questions. Not crazy personal, but we'll be back right after these messages on the Sports Lounge.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Lounge with Adam and Sean. We are here with Noah from the UWGB cross country team, and we've been talking a little bit about his academics, some of the main races that he had, the 6 out of 7 that he won. Right now, kind of going into your senior year, how do you reset your expectations heading into the most aggressive year that you will probably ever have?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the tough part about it all because at the end of the season, you kind of got to take a little bit of a break. We, as a team, take 2 weeks completely off, and that's a good time to kind of reflect on the season that we've had and look to the future. of course, we're always looking to progress. So, you know, I'd love to have a similar season next season. And as I said before, everything's progressing so fast. Like I know I'm gonna have to progress even to have the a similar result. But at the same time, like I'd love to make it to nationals. I think that could be in the picture. So I'd say that's the main goal. And in the spring here, my main goal is to run a sub 14-minute 5K. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So I know you have a lot of still important races and important things that you want to accomplish in running, but going into senior year, maybe professional running is in the picture, maybe it's not. What are your plans for after school?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't thought too much about professional running, but what really interests me is like I was saying before, I'm studying health and exercise science, so I really want to do like a PhD in exercise physiology, kind of do some research in that area. I'm super interested in exercise as a longevity intervention to improve health and lifespan in the population. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the future.
That's
That sounds
huge.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
huge. That's huge. I had a client once. Little story about this is he got out of the Air Force. He's 101 years old, and I asked him. I said, "What's the secret? Is it in the water you're drinking, the fountain of youth?" He said he walks and runs every day. He
Yeah.
does not skip a day.
Crazy.
So it just plays a huge factor in your physicality and your the way that you
Yeah.
live every day.
I think just being in motion constantly kind of helps. I
Absolutely.
need to do more of it myself, but
Yeah.
you see the results. You see the people that live. I mean, they're always
Yeah.
active, so
Mhm.
it's gotta be, and you're passionate about it, right? So it kind of becomes second nature. You just put your shoes on and go running, right?
Definitely, yeah. Some days are more difficult than others for sure, but yeah, it's definitely a huge part of my life, and I think if everybody can kind of make it a habitual thing in their lives, we could definitely improve, general health everywhere.
So when you go out for a practice run, let's say, are you a music guy, or are you, I want to be alone with my thoughts and process things? What do you do when you run?
It depends. I typically save music for like interval days on the treadmill, and then sometimes, usually when I'm outside, it'll just be me and my thoughts, or if I'm with my team, I like sharing a conversation and a laugh with them. I love trail running, so that's probably my favorite place to be out on the trail system at UWGB, the Arboretum. But yeah, that like being in nature, just in silence, or just with the sound of the ground underneath your feet, like that's what I really
Just
love.
being connected with
Like I said,
outdoors,
we
yeah.
got to get him on a Nike commercial.
Right,
Just the nature.
Yeah,
the
rain
sound.
coming down.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
pushing through it.
Yeah.
Good job.
So, tell me a little bit. When you are kind of in the element, you're in the zone. Um, when you're thinking about these things, like when you're running by yourself, how do you want to be, remembered at UWGB? Like, is it that you're that guy that's kind of like the individual runner, or like, are you? What kind of messages do you want to really leave?
Yeah, I guess I kind of like to be seen as a contributor to building the program to a higher stature than what I found it in.
Hmm.
And within that kind of, maybe I'm not the most talented guy, but through, discipline, hard work, smart training, that you're able to elevate yourself to, a decently high level of competition. So I kind of want to put that out there, and have everybody kind of believe in their ability to progress significantly no matter what their genetic background is. I think that's super
Yeah.
important.
What's the running community here in Green Bay, Northeast Wisconsin? What's it like overall? You may be compared to different spots in the country. Is it kind of a niche group? Is it pretty robust? What's the community like of runners here?
I've actually gotten quite a good taste of it because I work at the local running store, Runaway Shoes. So I actually think it's quite robust here, like maybe it's not as big as somewhere like Colorado,
Sure.
but there's like quite a few runners. I'm impressed to see how many people are out there. I'm on Strava, and there's a lot of people. Wisconsin and Northeast in general is just it's quite competitive when it comes to running, distance running. So yeah, it's impressive, and I love being a part of it.
So when you're out for your run, sunset, sunrise, night, what is your favorite time to run?
I love a good sunrise run for sure. It's hard for me to get up sometimes at that hour by
Yeah.
myself, but luckily
I was a paper boy. I
Yeah.
remember those
Oh, yeah.
moments.
yeah. But we practice at 6:15 pretty much every day. So when we're with the team, I get to see the sunrise pretty much every day, which is nice.
Let's talk a little bit about your team. I mean, is there a strong connection? Is there a lot of local people on the team, or is it kind of people from all over the U.S.? And I'm sure running has formed a strong bond between you and your team. Let's just talk a little bit about your team.
Yeah, we are extremely close. On the men's side, there's 12 guys, 11 of whom are from Wisconsin and one's from Minnesota. But they're my 11 best friends in the world, no doubt. We do everything together. We move as one cohesive unit, whatever it may be. I know a lot of teams have like little cliques
Sure.
and like groups of 3 or 4 guys that hang out together, and that's all right. But I think it's really impressive that we're able to stay so close as a unit of 12 guys. Like we just went on a vacation to Florida, so we definitely spend a lot of time outside of practice, and it's a really special thing that we have, I think.
Is there any thought in your head about coaching youth runners? I know you're involved in the exercise part of it and maybe doing some more academic research, but is coaching something you would ever want to get into?
Yeah, I love coaching. I've kind of experimented with it with a few friends. I love making training plans and kind of thinking about how to optimize the physiology of the human in an exercise context. So yeah, I think it's something that I could see myself getting into in the future, whether it be a side gig or my main thing. Like I guess we'll have to see, but yeah, definitely
Yeah.
something that I'm interested in.
Well, we at least have one more year of you running, and we'll definitely keep tabs on your performance, and hopefully maybe next year we'll have you come in as a regional champion or a national qualifier. But really appreciate you coming into the Sports Lounge.
Boston
and having
Marathon
us.
in the works.
I hope so.
You
Yeah, I
hope
would
so.
love to.
All right. Let's see him qualifying. I want to
All
see
right,
that.
perfect. So for Noah Yankee, I'm Adam Engels, Sean Kornuski. Thanks for joining us on the Sports Lounge, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Noah.